Hi, this is Mike LaFever with the LaFever Quartet. Let me encourage you to download the WSGI app for iPhone and Android so you can listen to good old gospel music 24 hours a day on 1100 WSGI, Springfield, Tennessee.
One street over there's a life I could have known, one beyond my wildest dreams. Maybe that road could have carried me to streets of gold, but things aren't always as they seem. Looking back on all the chances that I missed, some I held, some slipped away. One street over where my memories exist, I wonder what would change, I really couldn't say. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I had today. Times gone by, I've traded like dirt into clay. I thought my memories would end. One street over's now 1,000 miles away. When I close my eyes, I'm back to where I've been. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I had today.
Hello, good morning. Here we go. This is 1100 WSGI. You know what we're doing. This is One Street Over. How you doing? We want to know what's going on One Street Over from where you living. I'm U-Turn LaVern. And it is, what day of the week is it? Mandy and Derek are here from White House. We've got Derek Watson is our Administrative Service Director from White House. Mandy Christenson, as you know, she is our President of the White House Chamber. And the first Tuesday, that's their day. But what's going on One Street Over from y'all living? How are the roads?
The roads are clearing up finally.
Okay.
So yeah, I think, you know, if that rain comes in, we're going to be back to school and back to business. It's been hard though, you know, because like you said, what day is it? And what did we do? And
I'm lost at this point. And yes, the hat means schools are out. I tell everybody, I said, if I've got my Stormy Cromer on, you know that schools are out because I didn't bother fixing my hair this morning. So, but that's your indicator that Robertson County schools are out if I am wearing the Stormy. This is a hat that is made up in the Upper Peninsula from where my husband is from, and so that's why I have to honor it during snow days. But it is also super toasty warm.
oh yeah,
And
sure.
he finally convinced me putting on a hat is the key to staying warm. And you know, us girls, we don't. You know, if you commit to a hat, you're in a hat
The whole day.
That's
Yeah.
right,
You
because it
cannot
messes
take
up
it
the
off.
hair.
Exactly.
Men have no idea, no clue. So, but he is right.
Bad hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Men are less like, hey,
Yeah.
you know. Anyway, so here we go, guys. It is Mayor Vogel messaged me last night. I guess they had the county commissioner meeting here in Robertson County last night because Mayor messaged me. He goes, am I coming in tomorrow? I'm like, nope. So we're working on getting Billy Vogel in tomorrow for the first half hour. Usually on the first Wednesday, we're talking to the principals. We had one that has a conflict tomorrow. So we're going to move her. We will be visiting with one of our principals at 7:30. And that's even if school is not back in session. I can't hardly believe we won't be back. But nonetheless, that's just, we're trying to kind of get the rhythm back and get the schedule back. And here's the thing, guys. We still have to get through February. We could still have another few snow days.
For sure. And even March. You know, every once in a while, that early March will bring something in. So
my brother was born on the first day of spring in March. And 50 something years ago, I won't say Ben, but we had a huge snow, huge snow. And I remember that because I was 5. So, I just remember we had to plow the roads to bring my baby brother home. And that's just 2 hours north of here.
Yeah.
So, I'm just saying.
Yeah, my birthday is March 29th, and it was, I was in high school, and we were out of school 1 year, I don't remember which year it was, but I know I was in high school because I can remember sitting around the dining room table and watching it snow, and it's almost April.
Yeah, exactly. So. You're like, the Easter Bunny's coming. What's going on? So nonetheless, and, we'll have spring break coming up here mid-March too. Our spring break is the week of the 16th. So, I mean, it's just like spring's coming, y'all. Hang in there. But I know we're all ready to get back to work, and there's so much going on. And you came in all Valentined up, and I thought, that's right.
It's here.
It's the month of love. So, anyway, so what have you got? Where do y'all want to start? Derek, he works with Jerry. Right. Ma'am. When we get Jerry on the phone, sometimes you guys are both there and talking to me, filling me in on stuff. Is this the first time we got to meet?
Yes.
So
Very
welcome,
nice to meet you.
welcome.
Thank
Nice
you.
to meet you as well. And so where do we want to start, you guys?
Hey, we can go any way you want.
Yeah.
I can kick it off, or Derek. Yeah, okay. Well, okay. So
You're more experienced. You go.
Okay, there you go. He's getting acclimated to being in here. So Mandy knows the ropes.
So I'm not going to talk about an event specifically, but you dialed it up for me. Valentine's Day is coming up. And so we've been talking about, we've been out of work, we've been out of school. Most of our small businesses lost a lot of revenue. And so January already is a really kind of sad month for small businesses and restaurants. So we at the White House Chamber have been challenging our community to get out this week, because if you will go out and spend $25 at one small business that you wouldn't normally have spent that at, make that commitment, you can generate hundreds of thousands of dollars for the small business community in just a really short amount of time. So I want to encourage all of your listeners to make sure that they shop locally this week for Valentine's Day, maybe get an extra bouquet of flowers for somebody, or take somebody to dinner that you might not have taken to dinner, or buy somebody a coffee. Just do a little bit extra to give that boost to these businesses, because being a small business owner can be pretty scary. Mm-hmm. And when you face a week or more of no revenue, you still have employees to pay, the lights to keep on, inventory that needs to be bought and brought in. So just give these business owners a little extra love this Valentine's.
I think that's a beautiful thought. And there's so many of us that our income was not interrupted, but there's so many that it was, where they didn't. I'm just, my husband, we're teachers, so we're salaried employees, but he also drives a bus route to help out. And so some of the bus drivers, they are not getting to drive. They're going to have, at least a week and a half of no income, and coming off of the Christmas holiday where they didn't have any income. Yeah. So you think about them. And I just think about them because I know that, he knows them and he's working with them. Mm-hmm. But then I think about all, like you said, the people who are in the restaurants and they count on those tip dollars. They're the ones that are, I saw something about a small business that lost a lot of plants because the temperature in the building went down and they lost tropical plants, and I'm like, oh my goodness. The loss to some of the businesses is devastating. And
in our restaurants that were out of power, they may have lost a week's worth of food.
Oh, I can't even.
Yeah, so there's a lot.
There's a lot of hurt. Yeah,
you just really aren't thinking about it. And so when you start like really sitting and thinking about it, you can find a way to do a little extra. And money may be tight for your listeners, and if that's the case, you may not be able to spend that money, but you can show some support. Share one of their posts on social media or recommend them to someone. There's ways to just spread that love and lift Robertson County back up.
Yeah, and again, if you're somebody that didn't have your income interrupted, remember that and go out and share a little bit of it.
Exactly.
And do something for somebody. Find in your prayers, just say, Lord, who can I bless? And He'll show you. He'll show you.
Yep.
He'll show you who you can bless. But I love that you're reminding people you got to get out. You got to get back at it, because we've got it's. Come on, the roads are okay. The back roads.
Right.
The one note about schools, let's just kind of say this, and this is something Dr. Danny Weeks mentioned last week, and just remember these back roads absolutely caked with ice. If you don't live on the back roads, you just don't know what I'm talking about. But if you're on the back road, they are absolutely layered ice. That lasagna effect, snow, ice, snow. We were out just trying to walk in the yard last night because the moon was so beautiful, and I was afraid we were going to bust it.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just so dense out there still. If we get that rain in here with those high temperatures, it's going to do a lot. Will it do enough to get these back roads where teenagers need to be driving on them? That's the kind of thing that comes into play when it comes to school. So I feel like we'll be back tomorrow, but who knows?
Yes.
So, cut them some slack for the administrators.
Right,
They're trying to
exactly.
keep the kids safe and the buses and stuff. I just wanted to throw that little side note in there. And one thing too, we're having our coming home ceremony tonight at Greenbrier.
Yeah.
And I was blown away because I was like, what? I just accidentally saw it and put it up on the marquee. And, because this is like we've got 2 home games left.
Yeah.
And the next home game is senior night. So they had to do it
Trying
tonight.
to fit it all in.
So they're
It's
trying
hard.
to get it in. So it's just been like, So trying to get all this stuff in, but just be careful out there. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to chase that rabbit, but
No,
as you're
that's
kind of
fine.
talking about us getting back at it, there's so much going on that we're trying to catch back up with.
Absolutely. Yeah. White House High School, they had to
So they
postpone
are playing
theirs.
us tonight.
Okay. All right. So
We're playing White House tonight.
Okay, great. Well,
So, yeah, I
I'm rooting for White House. Sorry.
But it's White House City, not White House Heritage.
Yeah.
I
So
think.
White House High School. Yes.
And that's
yeah.
so confusing.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So you're playing the Blue Devils.
Yeah, it is so funny. I don't see how that split of the county. I mean, it's like that's got to be confusing. at times.
It was very challenging
I bet.
for a little while, but I think we've all adapted to it and moved on. Derek was actually in school when the split was happening, so
Were you?
Yeah.
Oh
my
my.
8th grade year.
Wow. Was there a lot of like they're going over here, I'm going over here, and a lot of was that?
Well,
kind of
honestly, as a kid, I didn't think it just happened.
It just happened, so
Yeah,
you
it just
didn't really think
happened.
about it,
I know
yeah.
there, like my mom and everybody knew about it, but we just didn't. As a kid, I didn't think about it until we showed up at school one year, and it was like all our friends are gone. Where did they go?
Yeah.
And that's when we learned about the separation and all that stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, I think at first it was a learning curve. With everybody being gone, and then also the rivalry between which school was better and all
Yeah.
that stuff. But I think as years went along and we all kind of mended together, and now we're White House. Like either side of the county, you're White House.
Yeah.
So which school did you end up?
I went to White House High School.
Okay, so you're in Sumner.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
okay, well, very good. And this is all this was a request from one of our listeners who is a local business person who said we really need to hear about what's going on in White House. So can you get them in once a month? And we were talking to Mandy pretty consistently. But we really wanted to talk to your leadership.
Yeah.
And so that's what we do here on the first Tuesday. And we're starting with chamber stuff, just reminding everybody to get out and show some love to these small businesses, the bridge builders to the businesses. That's our chamber. And we just appreciate what y'all do so much. So what else do you have on your list other than just getting out and spending them dollars?
So I do have several events on my
Okay.
list, but one other thing I want to mention, and I know you guys have United Way of Greater Nashville in quite a bit. I don't know when the
They come
last
in,
time
yeah.
they were here, but I talked to Ace last night, and they have got some resources available for people who were impacted by the storm, and then people that want to volunteer and serve in a cleanup capacity and also a phone line capacity. So I just want to make sure your listeners were aware of that, and I've got the link for that. Once we get off, I'll drop it in the comments for people to find. But there's a form to fill out if you need assistance, need help with cleanup, if you want to serve, volunteering to clean up, and then also manning the phone lines to do all of those things.
And we've also got VITA that's coming up, the tax service that's done through
Yes.
United Way, and they're gearing up as well. And you can Brian actually came on through a phone call.
Okay.
We had him on because Brian comes on. We pretty much try to touch base with him once a week because
I,
there's just so
I
much
knew that
going on.
you had them pretty frequently, but I knew this was kind of pressing.
Yeah, and you figure, again, you are the bridge builders to the businesses. They're the bridge builders to the nonprofits. They are plugged into all the nonprofits. And as you said, one thing that Brian mentioned, so many people are like, I got a chainsaw, let me go. Listen, but you got to get organized in
Yes.
regards to the cleanup. And there's going to be plenty of cleanup. And there's still, I saw yesterday on social media where some of our crews, our Cumberland Electric crews were going to help, and part of them in Davidson, and I forget where else they were going, but a couple of different counties that were just devastated by the
Yes,
power outage.
yeah.
We've still got, so many with power outages.
A lot of our neighbors
that are
for
served by
sure.
NES.
Mhm.
Talking with to our emergency management yesterday, and I'm just, for some reason, his name is escaping me. Yeah, Blake. I was talking with Blake yesterday morning, and he even said that, we've got Blake Pierce, and he was saying that, the people who are still out here in Robertson are all NES customers.
Oh,
They've got
okay.
Cumberland Electric. We're back.
100% restored,
Everything's
yeah.
back. But NES was so devastated with all that they had that they're just having to get to it as quick as they can.
Sure.
And I know in one area there was one group that they cleared their trees and they called NES and they're like, all you gotta do is come connect it.
Yeah.
And that helped them. But you got to be super careful about doing that kind of stuff,
Absolutely.
But a lot of them, they're having to clear trees just to get to it. And I'm talking about roadways. A lot of the times there's stuff on the road, and if you can clear the path for them safely, might help. It
Yeah.
might help.
Yeah,
So,
accessibility is a big
You
thing.
better
with
believe
these,
it.
These small pockets that are
So,
left. So
but that's a really good reminder. United Way 211 is a great number to start with, and you can go to their website and find those links
Yep.
to volunteer, to get resources, to connect with the nonprofits that can help you. So, very good point.
yeah, that's what they work
we'll
for
get
all year
Mason.
long. Yes. So yeah,
So
I just
very
wanted to
good.
mention that. So coming up also for Robertson County is a recruitment event for people that are interested in leadership and building more connections. And so that's the Leadership Middle Tennessee recruitment event. And that is February 12th at Small Town Startup. It's a program that encompasses the Middle Tennessee communities. You spend 2 days learning about each county that you visit. And each county has a focus. Robertson County is agriculture, of course. But I completed that program a few years ago, and it's just really beneficial. Opens your eyes to a lot of things that, I've lived in Middle Tennessee my whole life, so I feel like I know a lot of stuff about it. But when you participate in these leadership programs, you learn so many things. And so I want to invite anybody who's interested in that to join us at that.
And what is the date on that again?
That's February 12th.
Okay.
And it's a Small Town Startup. I believe it starts at 6. I didn't write that on my notes, but I will try to go back in and, like I said, post all the links so your people can find it. And then on February 17th, our investor luncheon, which will be at the Municipal Center in the community room, is going to feature Secretary of State Trey Hargett. So we know that we're headed into a big election season, and so he will be coming to talk to our visitors and guests and give us a really in-depth presentation. He's a great speaker. If you haven't heard him before, he always has a lot of knowledge, and he impacts so many different things in the state of Tennessee.
Right. Very good. That'll be awesome. Tell them the date one more time.
That is Tuesday, February 17th.
Okay. And a lot of comments on here. Chrislyn Mercer, she's like wearing us out this morning. Hi, sis. I love her. She's
She
so
is
fun.
such a cheerleader for everybody.
Yeah. And she's kind of giving us a roads update. She says that Edgar Dillard, Smiley Hollow, still pretty rough out there. So Dividing Ridge Road, yeah.
Yes.
And so we appreciate you, Chrislyn. You're funny.
Yeah.
She's a mess. She's so fun. That's one of those. I just love having her in here. And I know
Yes,
she's
she
so
is.
active up
She's
there.
She's so much energy.
So
and got
much
her hands
energy.
in so many things.
Yes,
So yeah,
she's a
we're
lot of
lucky
fun.
to have her.
So very good. We love you, Chrislyn. But so where else do we want to go this morning?
So I want to talk just a little bit. We are partnering with the Robertson County Economic Development Board and Portland Economic Development to host a wage and benefits study workshop. And that is something that MTIDA does, Middle Tennessee Industrial Development Association does, in conjunction with MTSU Research. And they do it every couple of years, and it is a very important tool for our industry employers. So Electrolux and Bath Fitters and Tate Ornamental, they participate in that wage benefit study, make sure that they're competitive and that we're offering the right things to draw the right type of talent to our community. So we have a breakfast, and we've invited the stakeholders to that, but it will be in White House at our rec center at 7:30 on February 19th. So if you are in that industry and haven't received that invitation is open to them.
Okay, very good, because I mean that is so critical, because you get into those when I've had different groups, different organizations in, and they're just really short on employees. That's the key.
It is a lot of
That's
times.
the key. It's the wage and benefits. And if you're not competitive and the surrounding counties are more competitive, you are going to lose that battle.
Absolutely.
You're going to lose that
Yeah.
battle. And we've seen it in all kinds of different aspects of our community.
Yes, yeah, it's
So
very important,
very critical.
And the employers that participate will have full access to the entire study once it's published, and so that's a really valuable tool for our HR and plant managers to have access to. So we're hoping to get a really good participation in Robertson County this year.
Very good. Very good.
Yep.
Keep going.
Okay.
Keep going.
All right.
We're just not
And
going
then
Derek's learning. He's like, okay, here's how we do
Sucking
it.
it all in.
Just keep it moving.
The same day, February 19th, which is a Thursday, we have a Learn at Lunch that is going to be Canva Basics. You know,
I love Canva.
yeah, you know how important Canva is from a small business standpoint. Even if you're not in business, Canva is a really functional tool for a lot of purposes. And so a lot of people are intimidated by it, may not have experience with it. It can do so many things. But so that's a Learn at Lunch and that we'll be hosting at the Chamber on February 19th. The fee to attend is $15. It includes a box lunch. And then we will dive into some Canva basics and probably do a lot of one-on-one stuff too, and helping people so that they can leave understanding a lot of the toolbox and the files and how to save things, how to create a logo. Our goal is to teach everybody how to create a social media post and graphics that go with that, and also a flyer.
I love that. I mean, anything with Canva, I'm like, oh yeah, me.
Yes.
Because I get something there. I know the basics of it and stuff, and I do so much with the technology with audio and video and the
Right.
things that I have to teach that I don't have a lot of time to dig into it. But I love learning stuff about Canva because
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by it. Because
Oh,
it's another it
Such an
leans
in-depth
into AI a
program.
lot,
Mhm.
you know, of
Yep.
course, and as so many things do.
Yeah,
So-
it has so much potential. You
Yeah,
know,
it really
it's
does.
exciting, and I have a graphics background, and so
yeah.
getting in there to play with that is just a lot of fun for me.
Even if you don't have a graphics background, it's user friendly
It is.
overall.
Yeah,
so
it
that's
is.
What,
Exactly.
that's the selling point of Canva.
It
Anybody can
absolutely
just jump
is.
in there and get a graphic going.
Yeah, and they have a free version and a paid version. And so if you are in small business or marketing for your church or a club or organization, if you're not using Canva, you probably should be.
Yeah.
And we're here to help you learn how to use it.
It's people are like, well, I get on chat. It's like there's so much with AI, and everybody's like, I don't want AI. You might as well because it's not going anywhere.
No.
And that's why I tell everybody any of these things that make. I'm sure it's you've got graphics in your you've got a graphic design education. There's a piece of you that's like,
Oh, yeah.
because I mean all my kiddos that are very artistic, and they're very their imaginations just go wild. You start talking to them about AI and they just go,
Yes. Yeah.
because they see it as a threat. And I'm
Right.
like, no, you've got to harness it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you've got to learn to use it and let it take your imagination and your ideas and maybe take them in a way a little step further.
Right.
Step further. And I said, you've got to learn it. It's just a tool that you because it's not going anywhere.
No, and it allows you to work smarter and not harder.
Absolutely.
And that was, when Canva first 5 or 6 years ago, I was Adobe Suite. I was, and I was like, oh, I will never use Canva. And then I started using it. I was like, okay, I'm going to use Canva. And for the stuff I can't figure out how to do, I'm going to hop over here and do this real quick and upload it into Canva. So, you have to embrace the change because there's always going to be a disruption. And if you allow that to stop your progress, then you are going to face issues. But if you can adapt and embrace those changes, you're going to
Absolutely.
move forward. And so I'm sure you're talking to your students about that pretty much consistently on a day-to-day basis.
Well, and the thing with Adobe is it costs. I don't think there is a free version on Adobe. is
No,
there?
there is
No,
not, and it is a
It's
pretty
pricey.
pretty good
Yeah, it's
cost.
pricey.
And
Yeah,
so that's one of the reasons why when I find these free programs, that's what I start steering the kids to, because that way they can take it outside of
the classroom. Mm-hmm.
So anyway, talking with Mandy Christenson and we're talking with Derek Watson. It's about White House today. We're talking about all the things going on in White House. Mandy's been going over the different things that they've got coming up on their calendar. And we'll get with Derek here and get an update on their mayor and alderman meeting and all the things here in just a second. But where do you want to head next?
I'm going to talk about one more thing,
Okay.
and that is our candidate forum.
Oh,
That is
yes.
for our state and county candidates. The primary will be in May. May. Early voting is in April. So we have a candidate forum on March 17th. That will be a luncheon. Will it be
St. Patrick's?
Yes, yes. And Molly Pazzo's catering, and there will be a St. Patrick themed menu as well.
Okay.
So, but we'll invite candidates from all of the Sumner County and Robertson County races that impact the White House area and also the state races. And we'll give them an opportunity to speak from the podium. It's not a debate. It's just this is who I am. This is what I believe in, what I stand for. If time allows, the mayoral candidates may have a few questions to answer, but again, not a debate, just a little deeper dive into what they're doing versus the county commissioners and things like that.
Okay.
So we're excited about that. That's March 17th, and that will be at the Community Center at the Billy S. Hobbs Municipal Center. And then our friends over here in Springfield with Kiwanis and Rotary are also working on a candidate forum that will be in the evening. So if people can't attend ours or aren't able to watch ours online, they'll have the opportunity to come and do a meet and greet in person. And I think they're looking at March 26th. They're still working out the details. I think this snowstorm kind of threw a wrench in their planning, but I know that they're working on that too.
Very good. And I mean, we are in an election year. Oh my goodness, it's going to get crazy. And just so much going on. Are y'all doing anything? You know, the Olympics are starting. I mean, we've got the Olympics next week. And it's like all of a sudden I'm like, this is an Olympic year. And normally people have all the Olympic themes and all that. And I just haven't seen that this year. Have you? I haven't seen that at all. I don't know. I'm chasing a rabbit there. I'm just like one of those things that just kind of came across my vision for a second. So that's the White House chamber for the month of February and then teasing into March
a little bit.
A little bit. I tell you what, let's pause and let me talk about my friends Barry and Rebecca Richards, which I imagine y'all are quite familiar with them. And then we'll slide over and talk to Derek about White House business. But Barry and Rebecca, they have a tie. They're in Cross Plains. They live in Cross Plains. They've been there for 30 years. So they specialize in Robertson County properties, but Rebecca's office is in White House.
It is, yes.
And so Rebecca Richards, Exit Prime Realty, they've been with Exit from the very, very get-go. This is the company that Rebecca researched when she wanted to go full-time real estate. And she goes, I had to have a company that had everything I needed because I knew I had a lot to learn, and that was Exit, and they've been with them ever since. They were with the Garden Gate team forever, and then brought in Exit Prime Realty. We're coming up on the third anniversary of that, if I'm not mistaken. But if you go to Rebecca's page, you'll see she was 13th in sales for the GCI in Tennessee from Exit. So when you see her and Barry both get awards all the time, that just tells you they know what they're doing, because they excel in everything that they do. And so if you're looking for some information about buying or selling, or if you want to be a realtor, this is something I like to touch on, especially at the first of the year. This is when people start thinking about maybe going a different direction in a career, or maybe they want, I've got several friends that just do real estate on the side, and it has been a really lucrative, very cool thing for them to do. Well, if that's what you want to do, come and talk to Barry and Rebecca. They'll sit down, have a cup of coffee with you and kind of lay it out for you. Barry said he might talk you out of it because it's not for everybody. So they're going to be super honest with you and talk to you about what your expectations can be. If you want to go full time, you've got to remember then you're a entrepreneur. That's you. You're on your own, and it is there's a lot to think about if you're considering a career in real estate, but it can be a great blessing too. It can absolutely. All you got to do is just look at the business that Barry and Rebecca are doing and going, oh man, I want to tap into that. But if you're wanting to sell your property, they'll tell you the first place you need to start is with a free market analysis, because the price you think you're going to get for your property may not be realistic to what's happening in the community. And if you're buying, you got to know how much home you can buy. Those are just some of the very basic things if you're interested in anything that touches the walls of real estate. And if you want to find out more, you can reach out to them at sellwithbecky.com, sellwithbecky.com, or buy robertsoncounty.com. Again, because they're cross-Plainians, Robertson Countyans, they specialize in Robertson County properties, but also buy and sell in the surrounding counties and across the state line in Kentucky. You will find lots of listings from them in Kentucky. And Barry here lately has had several listings up in Nashville, so that he has focused on. Just search them out, find them on social media, and you'll find unique pages for both of them. Or you can just give them a call, 615-504-7424 or 615-504-7425. One more time, 615-504-7425 or 7424 for Barry and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime Realty, and let them know U-Turn sent you. Okay, Derek, it's your turn.
You're on.
See how easy it is?
Yeah,
You just
you
talk.
make it look so easy.
So, anyway. So where we want to go, Derek is the administrative, I had your title up here, and you're the administrative assistant?
Administrative Services Director,
Okay.
which I'm assistant to the City Administrator, Gerald Herman, and Mayor John Corbett, and also with the rest of the board. I make things flow, essentially.
There you go. keeping the balls in the air.
Yeah,
Right?
for sure. So, I mean, here lately, as all the cities around us, the ice impacts has definitely took a toll on us. So that's what we've been doing for the past, obviously, week or so, trying to get our city back up and running. Shout out to our public services department that cleared the roads, police and fire, obviously doing their work. And I want to also thank White House Methodist Church for doing a warming shelter during the ice storm. That was very beneficial for our residents. I know the city, we opened up our city hall as well as a warming center as well. But White House Methodist Church did a fantastic job. Shout out to them.
Just sharing some love.
For sure.
Yeah, so the city opened the warming center on the same day, that Sunday afternoon, that the church opened their warming center. So we had two locations serving. The city wasn't prepared for overnight guests and for food service. And so pretty quickly, the Methodist Church became the place to send folks because they had more space, they had shower facilities, they had a kitchen, and were able to keep people fed and lots of coffee flowing. And so they stayed open until Saturday of this week. And they had about 80 people come through their doors. I think City Hall had about 35 or so that came through. So that was not really on our bingo card. So pretty quickly learned and adapted again on some things. And so I'm sure that we will be a little better prepared next time. Red Cross jumped in and helped with some cots and blankets and things like that. And of course, the whole region was hit, and warming centers and homeless shelters and things like that really needed to up their game because these temperatures are not something that we're used to in Middle Tennessee.
Right, and we're accustomed to getting some snow and things there, but then it melts the next day.
Right.
This sticking around as long as it has been like, what in the world?
Yeah,
So
a big challenge.
Ice is a different beast.
You better believe it is. Yeah, for sure. And yeah, the people who have stepped up and done all that work, God bless you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that.
For sure.
But okay, so what else have you got?
Yeah. So our last board meeting was on January 15th. With the holidays and the new year, policy changes is not really a lot the past couple months. So it's more purchasing contracts, stuff like that we went over during that meeting. One of the items that the Board of Mayor and Aldermen approved was our Jenny King contract. It's basically janitorial services for several of our facilities. Our police department, that's probably one of our biggest contracts that we approved. Was the police department is doing a remodel and expansion. So we hired a engineer architect firm to draw those plans. So they approved that contract. The wastewater department had a cure and pipe contract as well. Don't ask me what that is, but essentially, just on what I kind of gathered, it's an existing pipe can basically create a pipe inside of a pipe.
Okay.
Our wastewater director, Travis Garman,
is very technical.
He is so technical, and he could talk to you for hours about
funny.
wastewater procedures and processes and tools and equipment and grinder pumps. We had a luncheon, and we had a panel of our frontline resources, and he was on there, and he really went into detail about grinder pumps and things like that. And so if you are interested and want to know, he is the man to talk to about
That's
that.
hysterical.
The rest of us just kind of pass off to
For
Travis.
sure, we're like, you can take it over.
It's like, can you answer that question?
Right.
As a matter of fact, I can.
Flow, grinder pump, like the words I know, but that's
I know a lot more about it than most because I'm the neighbor to the one here in Robertson County, so we know a little bit more about it. But anyway, that's funny.
I mean, so wastewater had a big night essentially at the last BMA meeting. So the Southern Force Main Phase 6, we approved a contractor for that. So the Southern Force Main, I'm sure Jerry's mentioned it before. It's essentially a 20-inch pipe that goes from the wastewater treatment plant on Industrial Drive all the way to Tyree Springs. So on the southern portion of our city. So, I mean, it's a pretty big line that goes across town. So this is the last phase of that. It will connect from Cedarbrook, if you're familiar with White House, Cedarbrook, where 31W and Sage Road is. It will connect from there over to Tyree Springs. So that's a pretty big project there that we're finishing. It's over $8 million, I believe, is how close the total that line is that we put in. Callista Road widening. So we're in the process of the right-of-way phase. The portion of Callista Road from Wilkinson Road all the way up to the city limits, we are in the process of designing widening it, essentially. So we're in the process of doing utility locations at this point. So one of those is sewer. There's sewer conflicts. So they also approved design services with CSR Engineering to relocate those sewer lines.
Okay. So very good.
Yep.
And that's an area, if you know White House, it was so needed.
Oh, for
that
sure.
road widening. I mean,
a lot of residents in that area, for sure.
For sure. And a lot of work that went into that. But do you have a timeline? You're going back to the sewer line. Do you have a timeline? Because that's going to be a lot of work, and it's going to be, a construction. It's going to take from this date to this date. Did they give you a timeline on that?
Are you talking about for Callista Road?
No. I'm talking about before you started
Southern
talking.
Force Main.
Yeah,
Southern
I'm
Force
talking
Main.
about that. Yeah.
And
then you could talk about the Callista Road too, if they have a timeline on that.
we don't have a timeline for Callista Road just because they're just in design phase right now.
Gotcha.
And
So
acquiring easements.
yeah,
too, right?
there's
that's
easements and right of ways.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a while for that. The Southern Force Main, it will be, I believe it's a 180-day project, maybe 90-day. I don't know off the top of my head, but so essentially we're in the signing agreements now since it just got approved by the board. They're going to do a pre-construction meeting within the next week or two, and then that's when they get the green light to start construction. So I would assume by end of June they should definitely have that completed.
Okay.
If
Well,
not
that's good.
sooner.
Okay, good. That's good. Yeah.
This is the final phase of that project.
Right. Okay. Anytime you start talking about that, you're like, okay, how long is that going to take?
Yeah.
You start thinking about that. But we're talking with Derek Watson and with all things White House community. And as far as this is just that time of year, it's just not that busy. I mean, budgets and things. Are y'all at that budget phase?
Yes, that's a good point.
Yeah.
We did start our budget process. It is a 6-month process. We just started off with, it was not last week, but the week before. Last week is a blur.
We all lost
Yeah, it's like, huh?
But we actually, the week before, 2 weeks ago, we did our department head budget retreat. So all the department heads got together. We use MTAS as a moderator. MTAS is a municipal technical advisory service. County has a counterpart as well, CTAS, that we all use. So MTAS was the moderator, essentially keeping us on track and all that. And we went over all our projects, all our current projects from the previous year, all our projects that didn't get funded last year, and then projects that we propose for next year, including the ones that didn't get funded last year. So we go over every single project. And then we essentially rank those based off of the department heads. We rank them, we give them it's called a matrix score. So it kind of takes the politics away from the projects. Essentially, if it's more urgent, if it's kind of a life or death situation kind of thing, like obviously that gets scored higher.
And the impact it makes on the community too.
Sure.
So if it's a really big impact on the community versus a smaller impact, it may score differently. This is their pie in the sky session, like dream big.
Here's what I want.
For sure.
Throw it all out there.
For sure.
Yeah.
And then they kind of whittle it down
Yes.
and go through the process.
So we start with that, and then we'll have our board of mayor and alderman retreat. So then that's when they start to weigh in, and it affects those scores as well. So because the politicians, they feel like they have other.
They're representing their ward.
Yeah, exactly, and they have other priorities that may not be essentially what the department head. Because the department head, they want the flashy vehicles and all that stuff, whereas like the politicians, like, well, we need a sewer line that runs to this location, which that's not a good example, but essentially that's what I'm trying to say.
Honestly, no, I think it is, because that is the reality a lot of the times.
Sure.
And you're being facetious in some ways,
for sure.
But no, you get it. When you're working there versus you're trying to get people to vote for you to put you there, it's a totally different perspective.
There's different things for sure.
Yeah.
So that process is going to be in March when the board of mayor and alderman gets. When we do their retreat, and then we have a study session in early May, where the public can essentially have they can speak on things that we have. So between the department head and the BMA, here's our list of projects that we're essentially proposing for our new budget. So we'll have a study session that goes over the entire budget, where the public can also have a weigh in saying, we want this road paved, or whatever the public would like. And then later in the month, we'll have a actual first reading of the budget. So there's 2 readings that we have to do for the budget. So one will be in the May meeting, and then the second will be in June. So that way the budget will start July 1st.
Okay.
Yeah, the fiscal year for the city is July 1st through June 30th.
Yeah, and that's just the budget talk is what most everybody that comes in that has anything to do with county, city government, they're talking budget right now.
Yeah, it's not a quick process.
No, not at all. You mentioned retreat, and I'm always curious when I hear people talk about it. So y'all go somewhere and actually have a retreat, or is it kind of like a symbolic retreat?
Symbolic.
Okay, because that's kind of what I thought. That's what I thought. Are y'all like going to the lake?
No, I wish. No, essentially we get locked. We go to a meeting space in Hendersonville, and we get kind of locked in the room and debate for probably 6-7 hours.
I got you.
Presenting everything.
You guys get to do some fun team building activities too.
That's where,
they partner people up, and they have to guide them through the room, or draw or build something. So they do some things to kind of break the ice.
Make the retreat part
That's
of
just it. Well, and it also too, anytime. That's one thing I have seen in, I'm in my 4th year teaching, and every time that I go somewhere and do something with my colleagues, I'm like, I don't have time to do this, but it's something to get us interacting.
Yeah.
I build relationships that are so important.
Yes.
For sure.
People that I'm texting during the snow and stuff because I got to know them at something outside of the classroom. That has helped me build that relationship, and it's just those are so important when you're working with people.
They really are, and it opens lines of communication too. Because when you don't have those things to kind of break icebreakers, that's what it is. You're breaking the ice, and building that relationship, the confidence to talk to somebody or share information with people. So it's important. I don't know many people who like icebreakers.
Yeah, no, everybody's like, but you learn from them. You do.
Usually when it's over, most of the time you're like, okay, that was a little bit fun.
Yeah. But that's hysterical. But as soon as you mentioned retreat, I'm like, what does that look like?
Yeah.
I was super curious.
It's not the glorious retreat, lounging by the lake or a pool. No, unfortunately not.
Anyway, I didn't figure. But anyway, we're talking with Mandy Christenson, and we're talking with Derek Watson. Mandy is our president of the White House Chamber of Commerce, and Derek is our administrative service director in White House. And if you've heard him and Jerry on the phone, that's his, he's been the voice.
In the background.
Jerry has been like, well, let's let Derek answer that.
Yeah.
And Derek is also facilitating the census for us.
For sure.
So he is
That
working.
was my next question.
Yes.
So there you go.
Yes.
Perfect segue.
Yeah.
She's been doing this a while.
Yeah, so the special census, we've been trying to do this since April of last year, and with the hiring freeze and the shutdown, we're still at it. We're still trying to get those numbers. Yes, and the snow last week. We're still at it. We're still trying to get it. The goal was obviously to get it done by the end of January, but the snow kind of hindered that. So we're looking mid-February, end of February, trying to get those last numbers in. Once the field workers are done with their going door to door, they will send all of their calculations and everything to a central hub where the census is, and they have actual people that run the numbers essentially, and they'll draft a report and give us our final numbers, our population count. That report we're hoping to get back end of April, early May, so we can have official count and know how many people we have in our city. We're estimating around 18,000, maybe 19,000. Right now, the 2020 census has us at 13,000. So any number over that is a win for us because we get $175 per person from the state and state shared revenues. So we just like every city around us, we want our share of the money.
That's right.
Right. And we're certain that we were miscounted, or because we know some communities that were brand new communities were missed. And of course, it was a 2020 census, and we all know what happened in 2020. So, we're looking at probably $1 million or more coming into our budget line from the census. So it's very important that I think they have to get to 85% counted before they'll send it off for certification. And we're really, really close. So right now they're doing door knocking, and we're getting a few residents that are skeptical because, people are always a little cautious, but if they will just answer the door, complete that information, everybody in White House counts.
It'll be quick and painless. It's quick and painless for sure.
It is so essential because, we're not counted again until 2030.
Right.
And that's a lot of money to leave on the table.
Yeah.
I mean, that's $1 million per year.
You better believe it.
So that's $4 million, $5 million right there. That
you better believe
the
it.
city wants our portion.
Yes.
Because we're in 2026 now. Will you get the 2025 money, or how does it work?
No, it's a year out. So we'll with this count, we'll start receiving that money July 2027.
Okay.
We just missed because of the shutdown and everything. We missed the deadline for the state. They wanted it in January. Unfortunately, that didn't work. So we'll get that the money flowing in July 2027 from the state.
And you got to figure too, this will set you up for a better representation census in 2030.
For sure.
Which will be
absolutely.
here in a minute.
Yes.
I mean, it's just going too quick.
So
wow.
The park subdivision and
Heritage Farms,
they never got counted in our 2020 census. So those are 1,000 homes right there.
You better believe it.
So 2030 census, with our special census that we're doing, we've already, we know that they're there. We're starting to count them. So the 2030 census they're going to be as accurate
as
and
possible.
for sure.
So in this, did you have to recount the entire community, or so you had to go everybody?
Everybody.
Wow.
Yeah. There was an online process that went
Right.
for a few months. And so, a lot of people did that. And then the people that didn't complete that, they fell onto a list that went for the door-to-door census. And so, it's a really detailed process.
yeah.
And like you said, by doing this, we are ensuring that our apartment complexes, the newer subdivisions are actually on that map so that in 2030, they can hit the ground running. And
Right.
we'll just have to update them on a few projects that have
Right.
happened in between that time. So, really, really important for our community.
Oh, it's essential. And but you have really run into some things with the government shutdown. That was the first thing because you were really hoping.
Yes.
So I know y'all hated missing that deadline, but you're on the road, going to get it done now. So
Yes, yep.
So we've got just under 10 minutes to kind of recap everything, or if you have anything, is anything else we need to mention that we haven't touched on? That because this is that moment where you go, okay, what have we missed?
Right.
What have we missed? We want to make sure we don't miss anything. But
So one of the things that's being worked on that will get probably more talked about as the months go on is Jerry is retiring.
oh, okay, I did not mention that.
Yeah.
He is retiring. He's retiring in July. So the city is starting to basically not I don't want to say look for his replacement because that's
Well, they put out a request for proposal for a company to run the search. So it'll be a nationwide
Yes.
search. Once they
Okay.
choose that company
Correct.
that will do that, they'll advertise the position for a certain amount of time, and then they will go through those applications. And I'm sure there will be a lot because
Yes.
it sounds like a fun job,
Right.
right? And so that company will help our board of mayor and aldermen and whoever
Yeah.
else is designated on that committee for that hiring search to narrow it down, and then we'll start interviewing candidates and start that process. So it's a pretty long process.
I can imagine.
Because it's a really important position to fill because they're essentially the CEO of the city, and we want to make sure that we get the right candidate in there.
I love it. And so that is you're talking about the process and all that. So is that something that is hired by the mayor and alderman?
Yes.
Is that who does the hiring? Okay.
Yes, the mayor and alderman. So the city administrator is technically a contract employee.
Okay.
So they do sign a contract with this person that will that does the day-to-day operations. Since we have a part-time mayor and Mayor John Corbett, he works full-time, so they're not there to be able to do the day-to-day operations.
Right,
So they
right.
contract the service to the city administrator, and their responsibility is to ensure the city goes like
Runs
day-to-day. Yeah,
smoothly.
run smoothly,
Yeah.
essentially. So the board of mayor and aldermen will have the final say of who gets that job and signs that contract.
Okay. Okay. Well, it's the same process we have here in Springfield because we have Mayor Buzzy Poole, who is, like I said, has other jobs and things like
Right.
that. So he's part time. But we have Ryan Martin, who is our city manager, which is in basically the same
Yes.
roles,
Yeah.
I would think. But it's always interesting. That's one thing I have learned so much about county and city government sitting behind this microphone that I never knew. I know all about the federal government. I know all about it. And so, I mean, that's where I have always focused my attention. And so learning about all these municipalities and the counties and all the different things, and they all set up their own, what do you call it? The
A charter.
It's a chart,
Thank
yeah.
you. I was looking for that word.
Yeah.
The charter. Their charters are all different
Mm-hmm.
and unique. I was talking to my brother. We've got one of his very best friend is running for an office up in the Graves County community, and we were talking about the different roles. I'm like, that's so different than what we have in Robertson
and
County.
He's in Kentucky, right?
Yeah, he's up in
Yeah.
Mayfield.
So it's the Commonwealth that said, I don't understand the difference
See,
in
that's
that.
this.
You know?
Isn't that the truth? That's a good point.
Yes.
I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just so bizarre when you look at the different. I mean, in the states and the counties and the cities, and when you go in, if you're new and you're like, well, that's not how we do it back. No, because they have a different
Right.
charter.
Yes.
And so that's interesting. But
sure.
it's y'all's process is quite similar to what they have
Yeah,
in Springfield, from what it sounds like.
And the surrounding, like Gouldsville, kind of has similar. Portland has a full-time mayor, and so does Hendersonville. But
Right.
other cities around us have kind of a similar makeup.
And then you take the consideration of we have a county mayor. How does that? It's like, you know,
Yes.
It
but
just adds a different layer,
fascinating.
another-
It is-
whole nother
it is
layer.
fascinating.
It's
It
like
is
an onion.
fascinating.
Opportunities is what it is.
Yeah,
All
exactly.
these opportunities for
All-
people.
That's just it. All kinds of stuff going on. Well, we're down to the last 5 minutes, so let's kind of if there's anything else that we've missed, anything that y'all need to mention. If not, we can kind of reiterate some key calendar items.
Yeah, I mean, we can recap what
Yeah.
we have coming up.
I think that'd be a good idea.
So, want to invite everybody to attend our February 17th luncheon. That's Tuesday, February 17th. Secretary of State Trey Hargett will be delivering the presentation. I'll put the information in the comment section. We also have got that Canva Basics class on Thursday, February
One's
19th.
very excited about
Yes,
that.
yes.
She was
It's Learn at Lunch, and we also have got an AI class that we'll be having in April. So coming up,
Ooh,
so
okay.
you mentioned AI, and then March 17th, if anybody out there is a candidate or thinking about being a candidate, I think the filing deadline is this week or next week. So if you
We're on
have
top of it.
yeah, you got to do it. But March 17th, that's a Tuesday, St. Patrick's Day, we'll be having our state and county candidate forum leading up to that May primary. So that two really important luncheons, I feel like that everybody's invited to attend, take part in, learn a little bit more about the voting procedures and how things are set up. So would love to have everybody at that.
Very good. Very good. Anything that you need to recap for us, Derek?
So the city has always a lot going on, just between programs in our Parks and Rec and library. Our next board meeting is on February 19th. Encourage everybody to come out to that at 7 o'clock at our city hall. But there's tons of meetings. We would encourage all our residents to be engaged.
Yeah.
And to answer the door for the census.
For sure, that too.
Yeah.
So they can get this thing done.
That's right.
We need it done.
Get this thing done.
And the city has got a really interactive website. It's whitehouse.tn.gov, whitehouse.tn.gov. They've got a calendar of the events that he mentioned, the library, recreation center, but also a calendar of events for meetings and planning meetings, Board of Mayor and Alderman meetings, things like that. So if you want to get engaged, you want that civic engagement, there's your opportunity. Or if you're looking for an activity, you want to visit that whitehouse.tn.gov.
Very good. And I was kind of going through the comments here, and Lee Marie is just kind of reiterating what a great idea you had right out of the gate. We're coming off of the snow.
Yes.
Get out, and if you can afford to spend dollars locally, I know a lot of people are going to be hurting because a lot of people miss some income.
Yes.
But if you're somebody that did not have your income interrupted, then get out and spend some dollars in your hometown and love on these small
Absolutely.
businesses because they need you.
They do.
They
for
need you.
sure.
And be in prayer about who can you bless. The Lord will show you. If you pray over it, He'll show you somebody that's needing blessing and that you can bless. And so be praying about that. Anything else from you guys? I've got a few things I want to recap for my Greenbrier people.
Well, you mentioned if you can't afford to go out, small businesses love a good review. So take a couple
Yes.
minutes and go give some Google reviews. If you go to Public House every week to eat, but you can't this week, then go leave them a Google review. Post some
Yes.
pictures of a meal that you've had there, because a small business owner gets really giddy when they get that email that says you got a good Google review. So
I love it.
that's the way to spread a little extra love too if you don't have that revenue to share right now. So just show up with kindness and support.
That is awesome. I love that. The power of positive thinking
Yes.
on all these things, guys. So I love it. Y'all are just always so much fun to talk to. Thank y'all for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Absolutely. And we'll have them back in next month. And we'll, it's like the first Tuesday is White House Day. So we'll look forward to talking to them again next month. I do want to reiterate, just remember, school's out. That's why I'm wearing the funny hat. And will we be back tomorrow? It depends on that rain. And there's caked ice on these back roads, guys. So again, we'll have to just wait and see until later today. But be careful, be careful, be careful, be careful as you're getting out and walking around. These parking lots are still just caked in ice, and you could have some injuries there. We are trying to get back to business at Greenbrier. Tonight, they're having our coming home, which is the equivalent of the homecoming they have for football. It's when they crown our coming home king, and they're having to do that tonight simply because we only have 2 home games left. Tonight is the only one that's open because the last one is going to be senior night, and it's next week. We're playing White House tonight. So that starts at 6. If you can possibly go and support those kids, try to get out and do that. And then we're going to have the freshman prep night, or the prep night really for freshmen and juniors, Thursday night from 5 to 7, where you can come in and kind of get acclimated for getting the kids' classes and those kinds of things. So, I mean, we're trying to get business done, y'all. We're trying to get back to normal, but it's going to take a minute.
Yeah,
so
Be a minute.
be safe, and y'all, thank y'all for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. The plan tomorrow is to have Mayor Vogel in here for the first half hour. Then we're going to visit with one of our principals tomorrow at 7:30, all right here on 1100 WSGI. God bless you. Be safe. Have a wonderful day.
Oh, how